The 2023 budget presented to Parliament by the Finance Minister is central to government's attempt to secure a $3 billion support from the International Monetary Fund. Government is hoping that the passage of the budget will kickstart an economic recovery. For 2 weeks, members of Parliament have been debating the policy statement. On December 6, which was the final day of debate and specifically reserved for leadership of Parliament, the minority group raised concerns with some of the revenue measures in the budget while imploring the government to consider expenditure cuts.
Mr. Speaker, on the 2.5% value added tax, our concern is that if you do an adjustment of it on the 15% VAT, cumulatively you are likely to increase VAT to 21.9%. Because there's already 2.5% national health insurance levy, 2.5% get fund levy. So cumulatively, Ghanaians will be paying 2.5% value added tax. Even the input credit that, for instance, pharmaceuticals and others had advantage to deduct it, they will be denied that opportunity. Mr. Speaker, that brings us close only another country which is charging 20% VAT. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, it is the submission of the minority group that from the 2.5% VAT, you are likely to rake in about 2.4 to 2.8 billion Ghana cedis. Go and cut expenditure somewhere by 2.4 billion and don't burden Ghanaians with any additional 2.5%. So go back to your office of government machinery and then reduce the tax rate there. It is the contention of this size of the House that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo must take the moral high to reduce the size of government. And he must collapse many of these institutions into their mother ministries. All the development authorities can run under the Ministry of Local Government. The Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture can run under the Ministry for Agriculture. The Ministry for Aviation and Railway can run under the Ministry of Transport. Let him reduce the size of government and make savings for the Ghanaian people.
In response, the majority leader explained that some of the revenue measures, including the 2.5% VAT, is needed to ensure continuous infrastructural development.
The revenue measures, the key ones to provide self-sufficiency includes: 1, revision of income-based taxes, removal of selected VAT exemptions, revision of excise taxes for selected items, complete removal of discounts on benchmark values, undertake e-levy reforms to close loopholes, leakages, and improve patronage and enhance yields. And 6, to implement the unified property rate collection. 2020 population and housing stock census revealed that there are 8.5 million houses in Ghana. If on the average, each house pays 500 cedis per year, the equivalent of about $35, the revenue yield will be up to 4.25 billion. Mr. Speaker, if the average is 1,500, that's the equivalent of, if the average is 750, that's the equivalent of $50, it will yield an amount of 6.375 billion. And if the average is 1,000, it will yield about 8.5 billion.
At the end of the debate, the Speaker Alban Bagwin put the motion to vote, which returned a positive verdict.
Those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. I think the ayes have it. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The House has accordingly approved the budget statement and economic policy of the government for the year ending 31st December 2023.
What Parliament has done is to pass the broad principles underpinning the 2023 budget. From now on, the estimates for the various ministries, departments, and agencies will be referred to the various committees for scrutiny. And then the financial bills, which has the various revenue measures like the e-levy and the 2.5% VAT increase, will also be put under scrutiny. Still in Parliament, Deputy Ranking Member on the Finance Committee of Parliament, Isaac Adongo, has threatened legal action against the government and Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to retrieve losses on investments as the administration embarks on a bond exchange program. The Finance Minister on Monday announced a restructuring of 137 billion cedis local bonds into 4 categories to create fiscal space as part of measures to qualify for an IMF bailout.
I have been supported by a team of financial analysts and investment bankers who are poring over the over 64 bond categories that were issued. And very soon, I will present to you the level of damage in people's investment that has occasioned this announcement. But also we are ready with my team to support any group of investors and bondholders who agree to come together for a class action to sue the Minister for Finance and to sue the government to reverse this decision. We are also exploring the opportunities that are available to ensure that investors are able to support government in an exchange program that meets the requirements of investors and government, so that government is able to achieve the twin objectives of preserving people's investment and our economy, whilst at the same time meeting the criteria for the IMF program. We cannot, in the search of $3 billion from IMF, destroy over 100 billion of Ghanaians' resources.
For Citi News, Charles Osukumi reporting from Parliament.